Matt also had a gangbang with 10 freaking stars.
We'll get into that. I hope we recorded that. That'll be the intro. All right. You're hooked.
This is Matt from
All right, let's talk about how to set up your lifestyle in terms of maximizing your time, because it's your most limited resource, right? So how to put the least amount of effort but get the maximum return on that time investment, and possibly financial investment too. So that you don't have to, spend a lot of time swiping all day long, getting just like a few shitty matches, or you don't have to run around approaching all day long and get just like, 1 or 2 phone numbers. Sounds good?
Yes.
Cool. Let's get results as quick as possible. So I've been doing this for a long time, 15 years. So I started, learning approaching. I was very anti-online dating, but then I was like, oh, let's try that for a little while, and did that and got really sick of that quickly because it just sucks sitting there swiping all day long. And then when I was traveling, for 4 years straight, living out of a backpack, couldn't really do any social circle. So finally I said, hey, let's set up a social circle, see what that's all about. I started studying other people like Dan Bilzerian, and that's why I picked here, Playa del Carmen, as well as the Philippines, to set up and try that and see what happens. So I'll talk about that. Here's my strategy. Here's the way I look at it. There's a few different ways of meeting women, right? What are they?
Cold approach.
Yeah, approaching. Daytime, nighttime, whatever. Approaching, yeah,
Dating
cold
apps.
approach. Dating apps, yep.
Instagram.
I would say that's like online dating, so we can put it all, lump that together, but that's true, yeah, for sure. It's
Word
a good
of mouth.
word of mouth referrals. There you go. I would say that could be in the category of social circle. So it's just meeting people, making friends, and getting dates that way, whether it's from a referral or you join a salsa class and you meet a girl at the salsa class and you go on a date with her. So those are the 3 main categories. I recommend doing all 3, but you want to do them as effective as possible. So like this weekend, I assume you guys are working on approaching mostly, and probably other things, I'm sure. And it's really a good idea to go out there and just approach as much as possible. What I like to do now is just set up my life so that I go to where there are women. I don't necessarily run around for hours approaching. I just go for a walk every day. And I mean, it's good to get sun, right? I walk my dog, or I walk to the grocery store. So figure out, when you go back home, figure out how can you set up your lifestyle so that you ideally leave your house every day and put yourself in an environment where there could be opportunities. Simple as that. That's how I set that up. Now, if I wanted more dates from approaching, obviously I would go out and say, today I'm going to spend 2 hours approaching and I'm going to set a goal and all that kind of stuff. And that is what you should do in the beginning for sure, to get good at the skill. Once you get good at the skill and you're getting dates, you don't need to run around for hours and hours every single day approaching, then I say set up your life so that you're going to Whole Foods every day to pick up some food. And hey, half the time, or maybe all the time if you're in Orange County, there's a beautiful girl or 2 or 3, and you do a few approaches while you're there. So you're literally spending almost no time approaching. You're just living your life, and then when you see a beautiful girl, it might be a 10-second interaction. She might tell you she has a boyfriend right away. So you literally only spent 10 seconds out of your way talking to somebody. Or it could be all the way up to like a 3-minute, 4-minute interaction where you got her phone number and maybe even an instant date right then and there. So you're really not spending much time investment in it, right? Pretty simple, makes sense, right? Okay, so that's number 1, that's approaching. Like, never stop approaching. It's a really important skill to harness your confidence, learning tension, learning a lot of skills that you don't learn even from joining salsa classes and other types of classes in groups and organizations and social circles, and you definitely don't learn them from swiping online or even texting girls, right? So it's really important for development. Approaching, I feel like, is like the best thing for personal development. Go to a club by yourself in Hollywood, and man, that's gonna be better than paying, $5,000 for a Tony Robbins conference in my book, for sure. As long as you're not drinking and as long as you're like focused on approaching and like all your shit's gonna come up, all your insecurities are gonna come up, and hey, you got to deal with them. So that's approaching. Online dating. The way I do it and the way I recommend it is don't do it yourself. Get somebody else to do it for you. Set up your online dating profile so that it's, you know, all the basics, have great pictures and a good bio and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to get into all that. But once you have that set up, and you got to do it yourself a little bit in the beginning to make sure it works. Like if you're not getting any matches, then all right, maybe you need some different pictures and you need to change some stuff. But once you have a good profile, find somebody in the Philippines or India or Pakistan to do it for $3, $4, $5 an hour. Right now my VA is doing it for $3 an hour. That way you're getting dates when you sleep. Yes, it's gonna cost you a little bit of money, but $100 a month, $200 a month if you really wanna like go crazy at it. Right now I'm spending $150 a month on it. Getting dates, getting, you know, a few each week, or at least a few phone numbers each week. And what I have her do, I've had male VAs, virtual assistants, female virtual assistants. But what I have her do is all the messaging on the app, obviously all the swiping, all the messaging. I've never even opened the app. She created the app. I just gave her all the stuff, all the pictures and the information, and then she just creates it. So I never even look at it. I never even open it. I tell her to send me screenshots and videos, make sure she's doing it properly. And she just sends me the phone number. Now, some guys, they don't even want that. They're just like, send me dates. So your VA can just actually set up the dates too. Look at your calendar, see when you're free, and put dates into your calendar if you want. I don't want to be that hands-off. I want to like look at her first, make sure she's actually cute, and have a quick conversation and tell her, you know, figure out logistics together. But you can make it as hands-on or as hands-off as you want. But you get lots of dates without really any effort. Because that's important for setting up a social circle. You need lots of leads coming in. I just did a yacht party and we invited, me and the other people probably invited a total of 100 girls, maybe. I'm just guessing. I don't know how many exactly. And 15 showed up. And this is a yacht. This is like something pretty badass. So you need a lot of leads if you want to start doing events. And that's what we'll talk about next. Of course, you can meet women at events. You can go to other people's events. I mentioned salsa classes, yoga classes, any types of groups, you can meet girls there too. All of this is just generating leads. Think of it as like 3 funnels, right? You got your approach funnel, you get some dates from that, and you also get some girls that you can invite to your events. Online, same thing. You get some girls that you go directly on a date with, but guess what? The majority of them are you going on dates with? The majority of girls that you get their phone number, whether it's approaching or online dating, are you going on dates with the majority? Most people aren't. I'm not. I'll be honest about it. It's the minority. If I get 5 phone numbers, I haven't looked at the exact stats, but maybe I'll go on 2 dates. That's the minority. So there's 3 girls, the majority, that I don't even go on a date with. That's why I recommend setting up events. Phil does a great job of this. So I'm sure he's going to talk about it this week too. But set up events. It could be weekly. It could be monthly. It can be quarterly.
Or like you every day?
Could be every day.
What do you say to the guys who don't want to learn approaching? To the guys who go directly without learning the skill of cold approach, who want to build a social circle or online dating?
Okay, so for the guys who just don't want to do approaching at all, they want to skip it, but they want, you know, like a massive social circle. So it's definitely possible. Remember, I said there's 3 ways of meeting girls, 3 funnels: approach, online dating, and events. You could just focus on one of them. You could just focus on one of them. It doesn't have to be approaching. You can say, forget approaching and forget online dating. I don't want to do it myself, and I don't even want to spend $100 a month. And you only focused on events. You'd have to go to a lot of other people's events for a while, meet a lot of people, get a lot of leads, make friends with a lot of girls, and then invite them to your event. That works too. I say do all 3. Because here's the thing about approaching, like I mentioned, it develops you as a man. It's the only one. I mean, going to events helps you become more social. It helps you as well. Online dating doesn't develop you at all. But approaching envelops you the most because it's the most where you got to get out of your comfort zone. You got to stop women and sometimes groups of women on the street. Like, that's crazy when you think about it. Nobody does that except for us because we're badasses. We're getting out of our comfort zone. Or approaching girls at a club. Like, for some guys, it's like no big deal. If you go to clubs a lot, you're like used to that. But for other guys, like, that's like scary because the girls are tipsy and they've already been approached by a bunch of girls and they're in bitch mode. And you got to go up to them and maybe they bitch you out. But great, perfect. Now you have to sit with that for a second and deal with that. That's like your inner game, right? So I think approaching is the best way to work on that inner game because ultimately, if you think of this kind of like, you know, I talked about funnels, right? Funnels, it's a marketing term, right? Like you click on an ad and then you go to the landing page and then you buy their product, right? That's a funnel. 1,000 people or like 100,000 people click the ad, maybe only 1,000 people actually like check out the landing page and then like 100 people buy, right? It goes like this. So in terms of business, if you look at dating at like in terms of business terminology, you are the product, right? You're the product. So if you're not the best version of yourself, if you're not an amazing product, then women are going to want a refund. They're going to be like, screw this. They're going to have buyer's remorse. That's even a pickup term, but it's also a sales term. They're going to hook up with you or hang out with you and then realize, oh, that was a waste of time. This guy's not as cool as he seems. That's like if you've ever bought something, a program or a product, because it had really good marketing, and then you're like, oh, this is shitty. Like the product fell apart right away. You don't want that. You want to be the best version of yourself. So that's why, yeah, approaching is so good. But you gotta, yeah, that's why I say work on all three funnels, do all three. Go to a few classes. That'll help better you too. You'll learn a skill, whether it's salsa dancing or some kind of dancing or improv or yoga or maybe even something business related, whatever it is. But you meet people there. You're developing your social skills and other skills. So then you're meeting all these people. That's crucial. If you want to set up a social circle, you got to meet a lot of people. And why do you want to set up a social circle, by the way? That's what we were about to get into. I kind of touched on it. Why even set up a social circle? Like why throw parties? Why throw events? And it doesn't have to be just parties and events. It could be a dinner at your place with a bunch of girls and cool guys, like cool people. It could be hiking. Like, why do you want to do those kind of things? What's the benefit?
Because you get social proof.
Yeah. So like all the girls come and
Yeah.
the other girls see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And potentially influential people like guys too. Like let's say it's at a club and there's the owner there or the promoters and they see you with a bunch of hot girls. They're going to be like, oh shit, we need these girls to keep coming back. Let me go talk to that guy and see what's up. Like you don't even have to ask for the owner or the manager. He'll come to you if you show up with a bunch of girls. And that's one reason. Why else?
Yeah, so access, like you said, social proof. Yeah, it's part of the funnel. So you're in an environment where you're familiar, and from there, that's like easier to get kind of like a high quality woman that you're looking for.
Yeah, because a lot of women are not on dating apps. So you're using the dating apps to get girls maybe in the beginning to come to your event, house party, club, whatever it is. And then when you're there, you have this social proof because you have girls, even if they're not the hot, even if they're not 10 out of 10s, they're like, whatever, lower than that. But guess what? It creates a buzz. Other girls will see you. And then it's really easy to go meet those other girls that are already in the club that might be hotter. You can tell the girls in your group. I never approach when I go to clubs if I'm bringing a bunch of girls. Unless I'm walking to the bathroom or something. I'm just on the way and there's a girl. Yeah, of course I'll approach. But I never like run around approaching. No, I stay with the girls and they do the approaching. I can send them off. Sometimes I send them on a mission, like go find girls and bring them to our table. Other times I'll be like, hey, you see those girls down there? Go down there and invite them up here. And they usually will come. Because we're in the VIP area, we're literally like higher up, higher status. Usually the VIP area is higher than the regular area of the club, the dance area. And there's couches. These girls are wearing heels. They want to go sit down. They don't want to like stand all night. And then when you have girls in your container, like in your VIP area, and you're the only guy, or there's at least very few guys, there's a much higher girl to guy ratio, then there can be competition and of course more social proof and pre-selection, because you're hanging out with all these girls. They start competing for your attention oftentimes. Not every girl, but a lot of them will. So, and then what I was getting into, remember I talked about the majority, like let's say you approach 5 girls and you go on 2 dates, like that's really good. Maybe it's only 1 date out of 5. That's still not bad. That's not bad. Out of 5 approaches or 5 phone numbers even. I mean, it's okay. It's not great, but let's say 2. So these other 3 you can invite to a party. You invited them to dates, but they didn't reply, or they said no, or they're busy, or just fizzled out. But guess what? When I call it a reoffer. Now you're not inviting them to a date anymore. Now you're inviting them to an event, a party, a get-together, whatever it is. They're more likely to say yes to that instead of just keep asking them over and over and over on a date. And why do you think that is? Why are they more likely to say yes? To less pressure. Yeah, a date is like 2 hours one-on-one with a guy they don't even know. It's literally dangerous in their mind. Like, it's dangerous. For us, we don't think, oh, I'm gonna go on this date, like, I hope I survive. Women think that, they feel that. That's why they, oftentimes on online dating, they want to check out your Instagram first. They Google search you even, a lot of girls, to check up on you, like make sure this guy's not an axe murderer. It happens. I know it's super rare, but it's like, in their mind, they think it happens all the time. It's like, I think I heard somebody say this, I think it was a comedian saying like going on a date for a girl is like hanging out with a grizzly bear. You're hoping it's like one of those like tame like bears from the circus that like juggles, but you don't know. You don't know. So for some women, it feels like that. But if you invite her to your, let's just use a club as the example, she can bring her friend. You tell her even to bring her friend. So that's not dangerous. She's going to that club maybe anyway, or she goes to that club before. It's a public place versus, yeah, you're going to go on a date in a public place, but it's, you know what I mean? It feels a lot more comfortable. She brings a friend, that feels more comfortable. Plus she knows she can leave after 5 seconds, 5 minutes. She could just walk in and realize, oh, this isn't for me. Hey, I just want to stop by and say hi, but yeah, we got to go to this other party. That's normal. That's not like a weird thing to do. But you can't really do that on a date, at least not as easily. Like show up for the date and then 5 minutes later she wants to leave and she tries to leave. Like she knows that's going to be hard to leave. The guy's not going to want her to leave. It's just awkward. So she's more likely to say yes.
All day. So when you try to get girls on dates and they don't want to come, it's much better to just invite them to a party and tell them to bring friends. That's how you do it also, right? You just
Yeah.
girls, hey, bring your friends, and then they bring friends and friends and friends.
Yeah, because a lot of times when you meet girls, especially approaching, they're dating somebody. They gave you their number or their Instagram, but they're not 100% single. She's fucking somebody. I mean, if she's good looking, she's probably talking to somebody or hooking up with somebody. And you're the brand new guy. So that guy has higher priority than you. So sometimes she'll just say no to the date for that reason, because she's already talking to somebody. But if you say, hey, come to this really fun party, then it's like, oh, that's not a date. I'm not really like cheating on that guy. I can go to this fun thing. And then she gets to meet you and hang out with you just like a date. I call it a group date. It's a date with 10 girls. It's the easiest date ever, by the way. A lot of guys think like, oh my gosh, this is like going to be 10 times harder than a one-on-one date because I have to manage all these girls. It's so easy because the girls talk to each other. You don't even have to talk to them. I mean, you have to talk to them a little bit, of course, but if it's a loud club, like it's not a lot of talking. It's more just hanging out. And even if it is a quieter place that you do it at, like your house, you still just talk to one girl at a time, 1 or 2 girls at a time. It's still easy. And like anytime the conversation starts dying, you just, hey, we haven't talked yet. And you just start talking to the next girl that's next to you because they'll talk to each other. Now, a lot of guys think like, oh, well, why would girls want to go to an event with lots of girls and very few guys? Like if you walked into a house party and it was all dudes and you didn't know them, and there was like one girl that invited you, I don't know about you, but I would probably open the door and be like, nope, and just shut the door and turn around. Girls, it's the exact opposite. They're like, oh, what is this? this is different. This feels safe, and I can, girl talk and talk about shoes and clothes and girly stuff. Like, they like that. They prefer that. They feel way more comfortable. If they open the door and see all guys, they're gonna probably shut the door and turn around because that doesn't feel as safe for them. It's like a lot of masculine energy. So they actually prefer it. So then you have these events, and you can do whatever you want, whatever you like to do. If you like clubs, do clubs. And by the way, I don't like clubs anymore. I'm 43, don't really drink much anymore. I don't smoke cigarettes, or I don't really like clubs. I'm a musician as well, and my hearing is fucked. So like, I wear earplugs at the club. So I don't like clubs, but going with 10 girls, I like that. That's fun. I will do that all the time because that's a good time. Just sit back. You don't have to dance the whole time. You don't have to stand the whole time. Super fun. And we'll talk about too, if you guys want, how to like get into clubs for free, or how to get the bottle or the table for free. You can't always do it, but sometimes you can. I haven't really done it too much here, but I've started a little bit at some restaurants.
Yeah.
You got to meet girls ideally that have big followings.
Yeah.
And then you can negotiate saying, hey, we want, can you hook us up with a table, whether it's a restaurant or a club? I haven't done it at a club yet, but at a restaurant, like, hey, can you hook us up with some discounts or something if I bring 10, or not 10, but maybe 4 or 5 influencers? Because a lot of the companies here, a lot of the restaurants and whatever businesses, they hear about influencer marketing, but they don't know how to do it. So if you just reach out to them and you're like, oh, I'll handle it for you. You don't even have to pay me. And I tell them like, oh yeah, normally I charge $500, but we can do it for the first time for free. Just hook us up with some food and drinks. So it's kind of like turning the whole thing into a business. For me, that's like extra work. I don't reach out to places and do that. Sometimes if I'm thinking about it, I'll mention it. If I happen to meet the owner of a restaurant or something like that, I'll mention it. But normally I don't worry too much about that. But if like you don't want to pay for bottles, and you want to bring 10 girls to a restaurant, but you don't want to have to pay for all of them, then that's the kind of thing you want to do. You want to basically talk to promoters or people that work at the club and just tell them, hey, if I bring X amount of beautiful girls, what kind of hookup can you give me? Can you comp the bottle for me? Can you comp the table for me? Usually just when that happens a lot in Vegas. I used to live in Vegas too. After Orange County, I moved to Vegas. And it's easy to do that on industry nights or non-weekend nights, but not every city I've been able to make it happen. Like Philippines, we were talking about. I mean, it's so cheap there. It's like $200. So you bring 2 other guys, you're paying like $80 each for an amazing night. Food, drinks, bunch of girls. And what I did do when I was going out quite a bit, I would meet the manager, and he would always see me with lots of girls. So then if I just showed up with no table with lots of girls, as long as they had an empty table, they would give me the table. And then all I have to do is buy 1 bottle, which is like 2,000, 3,000 pesos. No, probably $100, let's say. Not even $100, $50 could be.
So you mentioned, okay, what was I saying? Okay, so you talked about like the 3 channels that you're using to set up your funnel, right? And then kind of this ties into like the bigger picture of setting up your life, right? So I know you've lived in a lot of places. Where would you kind of start if you're someone new? Maybe they live in the US, and they're trying to figure out, how do I set up my life, considering like relationships and business and like health. So yeah, I mean, kind of a lot there, but kind of how would you start with like thinking about that?
Yeah, it's hard to do if you're traveling a lot, but if you're living in one city, like most people, then I recommend go out every day and approach. You need to get a lot of leads before you start having an event, right? If you only have like 10 girls that you have in your phone book and that's it, and then you're trying to get 10 girls to show up to a party, it's not gonna happen. If 1 shows up, that would be great, but then you're just on a date. So you need 10 times that. You need like 100 leads to get 10 girls to show up. The good thing is though, by the way, 10 of the girls out of the 100 don't have to show up. That'd be 10%. That's still really, really good. But even if like 3% show up, 3 girls out of that 100 show up, then they're all going to bring a friend, most likely. Some might bring 2, some might bring 3. You could still have 9 or 10 girls show up because they're bringing their friends. And it might sound really hard, like, wow, 100 girls that I have to text just to get 3 to show up, 3 of those, and hopefully they bring a friend. Sounds like a lot of work. But remember, if you're following my strategy, you have a virtual assistant. They're doing all of that for you. Through Instagram, they can't really take over your WhatsApp, I don't think, but I do a lot of it through Instagram. I try to funnel all my leads, like I try to get their WhatsApp and their Instagram. So even if I did get their WhatsApp when I approached them, then when I'm texting them, I'm like, hey, what's your Instagram? I want to do a background check. And then I get her Instagram. Only for I don't even message her on Instagram. It's just so that she's in that collection. Because on Instagram, you can save people's pictures and create collections of them. So you can have collections of different cities. You can have different categories. I have one for like bisexual girls in each city. Because once you have lots and lots of leads and you've been going out and you're hooking up with a decent amount of girls, you realize like which ones are the crazy fun party girls, which ones are bisexual. And then you can start having like smaller events, maybe just at your house, like karaoke, especially if you're living in Asia like me. They will all come for karaoke. And it's just a smaller event. But if you invite the right type of girls, it can get pretty crazy. You only invite 5 bisexual girls. And I'm talking about 5 girls that have already been to your other events. So they're not going to be as flaky. Maybe all 5 show up. And now you got 5 bisexual girls singing karaoke, taking shots. One thing leads to another. So that's taking it to like the next level where you start like really categorizing the girls. And what I do is usually, if you guys want to talk about like threesomes and stuff, what I usually do is try to like have an event and I ask all the girls at the event, not like at one time, but like individually, like, hey, what do you think of the other girls here? Are you at all attracted to girls? I just find out each one and I like write down this information in my phone or like in their contact, like either they're bisexual or curious or not at all. And then I'll just invite like 2 of those girls out, maybe a couple days later to hang out. And I'll through text, I'll say, hey, remember the girl at the club, Cindy? She thought you were really cute. And then I tell Cindy, hey, remember the girl, Sarah, at the club? She thinks you're really cute. And if both of them reply, I'm like, yeah, she was cute too. Well, let's all hang out. We'll have a crazy night. And a lot of times they say yes. Simple as that, really. And then you just build it. Once you've had a threesome with 2 girls, then you just invite another girl next time, and you can keep building it.
So what you're saying is for 2 girls to have sex with each other, they still need a man to coordinate so that they both, yeah.
Exactly. I've only met actually a few bisexual girls that told me they hooked up one-on-one with a girl.
Yeah.
I think it's the minority. Majority of them, they need a facilitator. They need a leader. Because 2 girls hanging out, like nobody's gonna make a move.
No, they're just sitting there like, wow, I hope someone makes a move. It's like, yeah, me too.
Exactly.